All right, are we ready? All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hitting the Field podcast. A very special one at that. You might not be able to see me, but I'm Jeremy Brener. And today is supposed to be at least the start of the March Madness. But because this good old COVID-19 decided to wreak havoc upon the world, we cannot have the very special March Madness that we know and love. So we decided to create some March Madness of our own at HTF. And I can't do that alone. I got to have two of the best and brightest about college basketball at HTF. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Kyle Partain and Chris Wolf onto the pod today. Gentlemen, what's going on?
It has been a busy day. A lot happening in terms of school. Got some family coming in and moving out of the dorms here at UCF. So it's been a productive day, been a good one. But I have really been looking forward to this podcast. So it's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. Chris, what's going on, brother?
Not much. Just help Kyle this morning shoot some stuff, and
Yes, sir.
kind of been just a little bit of like a relaxed afternoon. But I'm glad to be on here talking about, what we think could have been March Madness.
Absolutely. So
At least the majority of the teams.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least the majority of teams. So our very own HTF bracketologist, Kyle Partain, has concocted a 64-team field of what he believed would have been the bracket. So we are going to use that as our bracket today, as there is no official bracket. So this right here is the Midwest region with Kansas on top, Seton Hall number 2, Michigan State number 3, and you have Wisconsin at number 4. You go down to the South where Baylor sits at number 1, number 2, Florida State, number 3, Kentucky, and number 4, Auburn. You slide on over here to what is the East region, Dayton number 1,
Mhm.
Villanova number 2, and Duke number 3, and you have Maryland number 4.
Yeah, Maryland at 4.
Up top, you have Gonzaga number 1, San Diego State number 2, Louisville number 3, and good old Creighton at number 4. So this is how it's going to work. We're going to go through each matchup, and we're going to predict what we believe will be the case, and then we will use NCAA GameSim.com to determine
I love it.
right or not. But anyway, let's before we do our simulations, and by the way, this is not a sponsored podcast, NCAAGameSim.com. But guys, this is what I want to do. I want to start off. Let's get a Final Four, and I want you to name what the Elite Eight matchup will be. And we'll do that for each region. And we'll start off with this Midwest region right here. We have Kansas and Seton Hall, 1 and 2. Michigan State, 3. And Wisconsin, number 4. Chris, I see you, so I'm calling on you first. What is your Elite Eight matchup for this region, and who moves on to the Final Four?
This is a tough one. And, well, I'm going to have this is very tough for me,
Mm-hmm.
but
Give me an answer.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Kansas versus Seton Hall.
Okay, Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, Final Four?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
Kansas, Seton Hall in the Elite Eight. Kansas moves on to the Final Four. Kyle Partain, you going to agree with Chris, or you going to go against the grain?
I'm going to agree a little bit. To me, the toughest Sweet 16 matchup, and I haven't actually filled out this bracket until this point in time, so I'm looking through it as we speak. I see a Kansas-Wisconsin inevitable matchup in the Sweet 16, and that's the toughest one for me to pick. I'm going to go Kansas because, again, I've picked them all season long. And then I take Virginia to meet up with Kansas in the
Okay.
Elite Eight. And I like Kansas to go to the Final Four, but I do believe Virginia has a favorable path. I'm not sure Michigan State or Seton Hall is good enough to stop Virginia right now.
Yeah. So Kansas, I like that Kansas pick. I think Kansas is at least an Elite Eight team, and I also do like Virginia too. But I'm gonna pick Virginia to go on to the Final Four. I think that I don't think just Kansas just yet. I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go against Kansas, and I'm saying Virginia's at the Final Four. But we'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm right. We'll go slide on down to the South bracket. This is the Houston Regional. Baylor on top at number 1, Florida State number 2, Kentucky number 3, and Auburn number 4. Kyle, I'll go to you first. What's the Elite Eight matchup, and who goes on to Atlanta at the Final Four?
This is tough because I truly believe this is the most open region in the field out of this bracket.
I agree.
I think there's about 5 teams that I could see coming out of this one. Gosh, I'm looking at this thing. I don't trust anyone on the top half of this bracket. I'm going to go with Baylor for that region, or for that reason, to make it to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
And in the South half of this bracket, let's look at. Man, I like Florida State a lot too. I'm gonna go chalk in this one. I'm gonna go Baylor, Florida State, but I'm taking Florida State to the Final Four.
Florida State in the Final Four. Chris, do you agree with him, or you got something else up your sleeve?
I agree with the top. I think it's gonna be Baylor based off of just almost off default because I just don't know about that top half at all. I mean,
would you say it's also the weakest region of the of the 4?
Yeah.
I don't know about weakest. I think it's the most open. I think it's a bunch of average teams, whereas some of the others have 2 great teams and not a whole lot else.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Baylor up top, and I'm gonna go Kentucky.
Baylor, Kentucky, and who moves on to it?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
All right.
As always in college basketball, I'm gonna go with the hot hand. I don't think that's Baylor. I think Baylor comes into this. They were the number 1 overall seed for a good part of January. So, but they fell on some hard times as they were going into March, and they moved to the 4th number 1 seed. I think if San Diego State wins their conference tournament, they probably are the 4th number 1 instead of Baylor. So I'm gonna go with. I think that. You look at this region and you're like, maybe, who could unseat Baylor? I don't know if they make it to the Sweet 16. I don't know. There's always one number 1 seed that just can't get it done, and I just think that's going to be Baylor. I just don't see it in them. I think what, this could be surprising. I think if any team can make a deep Cinderella run, it's Belmont. I think that Belmont actually has a shot to, out of any double-digit seeds make it the Elite Eight, it's Belmont. But now that I say it out loud, it sounds really bad.
Dude, I mean, you look at that Liberty Belmont potential second-round matchup. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely true.
You know what? I'll go with Baylor by default with you guys. I'm also going to go Florida State. I think that they're the best team in the bottom half. And I'm going to go Florida State to the Final Four. So right now I have Virginia, Florida State as this side of the bracket for me. Kyle, you have Kansas and Florida State, right?
Yeah, Florida State.
Florida State for Kyle. And then Chris has Kansas and Kentucky. Let's slide over now to the bottom right of the bracket where Dayton is there with Villanova, Duke, and Maryland. So this, to me, guys, looks like probably the toughest.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a hard one. That's a very hard one.
But I'm gonna put your feet to the fire, Chris. What is the Elite Eight matchup, and who goes to the Final Four?
Well, one of my favorite teams in this bracket, but also Dayton was also one of my Final Four picks, and I'm going to pick Dayton to go to the Elite Eight. They will play. They will play.
Gotta choose.
Man, this is hard. See, I don't know what Duke team is. I don't know what Duke team I'll get. That is my biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with the team that's been doing very well in Villanova.
All right. So Dayton,
And I'm thinking
Villanova. Dayton or
Dayton
Villanova. Who goes to the Final Four?
Dayton.
Dayton. All right. Kyle, do you agree with Dayton as a pick to the Final Four, or are you going elsewhere?
I'm going elsewhere.
Okay.
I love Dayton, but Dayton is the team for me out of the one seeds that does not get out of the Sweet 16. I'm actually going with the upset here. I'm going Oregon to make the Elite Eight from the top half of this bracket. I don't trust Maryland as much as I think a lot of people do, and as much as I love Dayton, I think Oregon's started to play much better again towards the back half of the season. They had a little bit of a slump there in the middle. Then we look down to the bottom half of the bracket. How exciting is a potential Duke and Villanova matchup?
Yeah.
I can't that is extremely exciting to me. And that might be one of the trickiest things for me because I do believe Duke and Villanova meet up in this scenario. I am going to have to go with Duke against my gut. I'm going to take Duke to win that matchup against Villanova. And I am going to take Duke to the Final Four.
All right. Duke over Oregon. That is Kyle Partain's pick. You know what? I like Dayton. I know you guys know how I feel about Dayton. However, I did a couple of sims to test it out, all with Dayton before, and I got a whole bad feeling about Dayton. Dayton lost like 3 games. One of them was to App State. So, like it was just like a test, and I was like, Dayton, let's just, here's an A, App State beats Dayton. And it was like, and it will show you like, they've done 200 simulations and Dayton's won like 198 of them, but you just happen to pick the one where it was one of the 2 losses. But I actually really like Oregon. So I don't know. Sometimes your bracket, you need to go with a little bit of flair and in a little bit of unexpected. So I'm going to go with Oregon in the Elite Eight. I'm going to agree with Kyle on this one. And then on the bottom half, I think it's going to be hard to go against Villanova. So I'm going to go with Villanova, but I am going to go with Oregon in the Final Four.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa.
Just made Chris's day.
Wow, that'd be
Chris, you're an Oregon guy, but you're the only guy that didn't pick Oregon to go further than the Elite Eight. That's, maybe something.
There's an injury. They have an injury to their second leading scorer. His name is Chris Duarte. And he had an injury, and he was unsure for a tournament.
I'm not sure if that will show up in the simulator, but
I still like Oregon for the Elite Eight. That doesn't change.
That was the only reason why I didn't maybe pick them.
All right, let's move up top, where Gonzaga is in charge of the West, and they have San Diego State at the bottom. San Diego State, they struggled to get in this tournament, and Gonzaga showed a little bit of some shaky basketball in that in their conference tournament. But who makes it to the Final Four, Kyle?
This one's another tricky one. The top half has some real chances for some upsets. You look at Yale, you look at Utah State. I'm going to take Utah State to play Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. That's tricky. I'm going to go Gonzaga to the Elite Eight from the top half of this thing. And then you look at the bottom, and I see an inevitable Iowa versus San Diego State Sweet 16, and I'm going to pull the trigger on Iowa here. I'm going to take Gonzaga versus Iowa for the Elite Eight. And I would be kidding myself if I didn't believe in this year of college basketball there wouldn't be a team outside of the top 3 seeds to make the Final Four. I'm going to go with Iowa as my lower seed, as my dark horse to make the Final Four. I take Iowa over Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. Iowa, you are going to the Final Four.
All right, Final Four, Iowa Hawkeyes. Chris, I know you probably don't agree with them on that one.
This is I'm going to start at the bottom first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with. You know what? I just think this team has just always been a tournament team.
I know where you're going with this.
The gut feeling. I'm gonna pick Butler to beat Iowa in the Sweet 16 to get to the Elite Eight.
I knew you were going Butler.
Okay, Butler, an Elite Eight team, making a Cinderella run once again. But who do they meet in the Elite Eight?
This is my Cinderella bracket, and I'm going to. You know what? I'm gonna pull the trigger. I'm gonna go Utah State Butler.
Utah State and
Okay.
Butler. Okay. So
I'm gonna go Cinderella. Utah State looked really good, and they've been looking really. They've looked really good recently. And beating a team like San Diego State, a potential was slated to probably a 1 seed in the tournament. Beat that, and then I felt like they were gonna. I felt like they had that destiny feeling.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right.
And I'm going to pick.
And they beat Butler.
No.
Oh,
Butler Final Four.
Oh, boy.
That's interesting because Utah State is in the West. That's an advantage you would think for Utah State. But Butler is the team of destiny for Chris this season, and all power.
The Big East.
To me, you know what? There is a lot of upset potential in this bracket. I feel like Gonzaga has a really tough road to get to the Final Four, but I think Gonzaga is going to make it to the Final Four out of this region, guys. I think that it's going to be Gonzaga-Louisville in the Elite Eight, and I have Gonzaga beating Louisville.
Okay.
So my Final Four is 6 seed Virginia, 2 seed Florida State, and 5 seed Oregon, and 1 seed Gonzaga.
Okay.
So out of that, I'm going to go Gonzaga over Oregon, and I'm going to go Virginia over Florida State.
That's a good choice.
And I'm going to go Gonzaga over Virginia in the championship.
Gonzaga wins their first ever national championship.
Yes, I have Gonzaga as my title.
You know, good for Gonzaga. If that's the case, good for Gonzaga.
All right. So, Kyle, your Final Four, remind me if I, mess up. It's
of course.
Kansas, right?
Yep.
Kansas, Florida State.
Correct.
Then you went with
Duke out of here.
Duke right here, number 3. And then you went
Iowa out of the West.
So Iowa, Duke.
I'm going to take Duke over Iowa. Iowa's Cinderella run ends right there with Duke.
And then Florida State, Kansas.
I'm going to take Kansas over Florida State, and I like Kansas to win the national championship. They avenged that loss to Duke. Kansas gets it done. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk.
Kansas as his title team. Chris, you also have Kansas with Florida State, right?
Kentucky,
excuse me, yeah. So Kansas, Kentucky. Then you went
UK.
Dayton.
Yep.
And Butler. So Dayton, Butler. Who you got?
I'm going Dayton.
Dayton,
this
okay.
Is destiny year, and then I'm going Kansas.
All right, so Kansas, Dayton rematch.
Oh, here we go.
Regional.
This was inevitable. I felt like in Chris's bracket.
Dayton. They get the revenge.
Right.
They get the revenge there.
This is going to be a lot of fun because we have 3 different teams in 3 different regions winning it all number 1 seeds. But let's start in the Midwest. It's Kyle's, or you know what? Let's start in the South because none of us have our championship team here. It will give us a little more time to, draw
Let
out.
that anxiety settle down just a little bit.
Yes. So we're going to start with Baylor and Boston University. So Boston University is 16 seed. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter who the home team is because
it really doesn't.
You don't see home court advantage here. So if I decide to, make the lower seed the home team, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, guys, Baylor, we're all agreeing Baylor's going to win this game, right?
You would hope so.
You would hope so, yes. So let's see if Baylor easily beats Boston.
That's actually pretty encouraging right there. I'm not gonna lie.
So Baylor moves on. Now we have LSU and Rutgers, I
like it.
This game, guys.
I like
Though,
LSU.
I feel this is more of a pick'em game potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the Big Ten this year. I think they've been the most consistent and they're the deepest conference this year. But Rutgers is on the bottom side of that consistency. I'm going to take LSU, who's been a pretty solid SEC team.
All right, Kyle's got
the season.
LSU. Chris, you got LSU Rutgers.
I'll probably go LSU, but barely.
All right, I'll go Rutgers just to go against the grain. And if this will want to load, LSU gets a 3-point win. All right.
Yep.
I like that. I like that.
All right, so let's just do Baylor LSU just because it's one less thing for me to flip. So Baylor LSU,
Cool,
one of them goes to the Sweet 16. We're all agreeing Baylor here, right?
Baylor, but not by. I'm not comfortable with it, but I take Baylor.
Closer than expected. Let's just say
all right,
that.
Closer than expected. I'll go Baylor too. But no, LSU gets a convincing win. 15-point win. Baylor doesn't make it to the second weekend. LSU as an 8 seed moves on to the Sweet 16. Guys, our first big upset.
I dabbled with picking this, but I thought Baylor was going to show a little bit more fire in this postseason. I'm a little disappointed right now. That's how that turned out.
We all picked him as an Elite 8 team, and they lose.
I didn't take him to the Final Four, so who cares? Who cares at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I care a little bit. I'm a little bit salty on that one, but that's fine.
All right, so now we'll go to the 5 seed Penn State. Shout out to Penn State. They had a really good year.
I agree with that. Did not expect this from them.
But Liberty,
I take Liberty.
Was the last undefeated team, right?
No, it was San Diego State.
Oh, that's right. But they were the
I
second.
Like Liberty. I like Liberty on the upset bid here, though.
Liberty on the upset bid from Kyle Partain. Chris.
I like it. Penn State had a bad taste in the season. They lost to a really bad Northwestern team.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if y'all are right. Nope, y'all are wrong.
Oh wow, dead wrong.
30-point win for Penn State, which I don't know how to feel about that. I think that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
No, I would have.
It's important for everyone to know that we're just simming this game one time.
Yes.
This is a one-time stimulator. This is not a best so-and-so out of so many. It's important for you to know. Because you only get one chance in life, right?
Yeah. But also, hey, in the tournament, you only get one chance to win.
Exactly.
So, Auburn, Belmont. Any chance Belmont pulls off this upset?
There's a chance, but I'm sticking with Auburn, and this is the one I'm going to pick wrong. All
right. Chris?
You know what? I'm going to go Belmont. I think they're going to get a win this year. They got the win in the first 4 last year, and I think they'll get a win this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Belmont as well. But we are dead wrong. Nope, Auburn gets the win, 23-point win. So Auburn moves on to face Penn State. I feel like a lot of people would have gone for the upset bid if we were able to pick brackets just worldwide. But now we got Auburn, Penn State. Winner goes on to the Sweet 16, and they'll face LSU. Who do you guys got?
I'm taking Penn State. Again, Big Ten. They've been consistent this whole season.
All right, Penn State for Kyle. We going to agree with that, Chris?
I think the shooting of Auburn will win them this game.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Penn State, that 30-point win over Liberty, I think that makes them look like they're pretty good. So I'll go with Penn State. And, I have my dad went to Penn State, so I'll support Penn State right here. But nope, a 7-point win for Auburn. Auburn moves on, and they
SEC.
LSU. Auburn.
Are we see 3 SEC teams out of this region in the Sweet 16?
It could be.
Very potential.
Auburn, LSU. This game's in Houston. Obviously, it doesn't matter in terms of the simulator, but LSU or Auburn, guys.
I'm going to take – it's funny because I don't trust either one of these teams. I'm going to go with the upset here and take LSU. I think that win over Baylor's got to mean something.
Yeah. Chris?
I think it's tough because they've played some really good games this year.
I wonder what it was like in the regular season for them.
It was went
to overtime.
Yeah, I don't know who won an overtime game.
Auburn ended up winning. Auburn won this game in overtime. It was one of the most exciting games of the season.
They only
highly recommend you watch it. Highly recommend you get to watch. I believe it was only one time. I don't know that for a fact though.
They play. I'm trying to remember when
But
they play.
this game was in Auburn. This game was in
pulling it
Auburn
up
when
on
they
my
won.
pulling it up on my phone right now just to see if
But
LSU,
I am going to
LSU.
take LSU.
LSU. All right.
You go for the revenge.
LSU, Auburn.
And
who's
again,
a-
I'm gonna go with Auburn.
Well,
that was
here
the
we
one
go.
before. And Auburn pulls it out. Yep. All right, yeah.
I was so bad on that half of the
Auburn
bracket.
did win 91-90 in overtime on February 8th.
That's what 90.
That was the only time that they played this season. So, yeah.
Look at the average score, though, down there. You look at the average score. LSU wins.
Yeah, LSU
on average. Just an unfortunate situation.
73, 71.9.
Just unfortunate situation there for LSU.
120 simulations. Auburn wins less often than LSU does, but according to the HTF simulation, this is your final score, 91-76. Auburn moves on to the Elite Eight, second straight year that happens for them. So let's move to the bottom of the bracket now. We'll go West Virginia first. So before we came on the air today, we simulated the first 4 games where Richmond did beat NC State, and it was like an 11-point game, right, Kyle?
Yeah, it was not. It wasn't particularly close, but it was a good game.
So can Richmond get a second win here against West Virginia and move on to the second round?
I think they can, and I think they will. Ooh. I like Richmond to pull an upset here. That's the A10 has been really good this year. It's not just Dayton's conference. It's been a good conference.
All right, Chris, what do you think?
I really want to pick Richmond, but Bob Huggins is a pretty good tournament team.
Yeah,
like he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
I'm gonna go West Virginia as well. It seems like the simulator is not showing very kindly to lower seeds in the first round. But no, pulls it out, a 1-point win for Richmond. So Kyle, you were correct. Richmond.
Did you say buzzer beater?
Here. Big win for Richmond, and they face the winner of Kentucky and North Dakota State. So, Chris, your bracket is on the line here. Not really. A little bit on the line.
Final Four is on the line. Every time you get a Final Four
on the line. So, I know what Chris is going to say, but Kyle, can North Dakota
taking Kentucky
ruin this bracket?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think this is a close game at all. I think Kentucky wins easily.
Kentucky's going to pull it out. Let's see if we're right. And, yeah, we are right.
Oh, closer than the other, high.
That's about what I expect.
Kentucky
15,
gets a
20 points.
Point win. They move on to the second round to face Richmond. Can Richmond get a third win here, Kyle?
No, as much as I love Richmond in the Atlantic 10, this is where the season ends for them. I like Kentucky.
I'll go with Richmond just so Chris can be mad at me. But let's see if I'm right. And doesn't want to. My goodness! A 1-point win in the.
So Richmond plays.
Can we just say Richmond may have been the most entertaining NCAA tournament team in this bracket?
Richmond, props to Richmond. They really had a good run, and 1 point away from Sweet 16.
Hey.
But it's not going to be the case this year for the Richmond Spiders. Providence,
2 1-point wins.
7 seed gets Oklahoma, the 10 seed here. Any possible 10-7 upset right here?
Possible, but I like Providence a lot. I like the Big East this season.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Providence has been a little more. They've been pretty good. They've been tested pretty well this year, and they've actually won more games than they've lost against ranked teams. So that's a good.
I like Providence here as well, but let's see if the simulator agrees. Wants to load. Oh
wow!
Wow.
Oklahoma wins, and they win, majority of the simulations, almost 60%. So Oklahoma moves on. They're the second lower seed to win a first-round bid. Now, Florida State and Winthrop.
We got a team on the line right now, dude.
Chris, are you thinking a possible upset here of
No, it's too early. too early for an upset for Florida State.
Let's see if the Noles get it done and do the Noles.
I imagine this is somewhere along the lines of a 20-point win for Florida State.
1 point win. All right.
Ballpark, give or take 5 points.
Yep, 18-point win for Florida. Good win. All right, Kyle, we live to die another day.
Well, that might be right here.
That could be right now. Florida State gets Oklahoma. All right, any upset bid, Chris? Could Oklahoma pull it out?
I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna pick Oklahoma.
All right. Well, you're no fun.
No faith in our bracket picking skills.
No
dude.
faith. Final score.
No. What is happening?
No.
They win 70. Oh my.
Florida State wins nearly 62% of. All right.
Wow.
Oklahoma's gonna have to ruin you, Chris.
Yeah, I feel really not good about the rest of my Final Four picks.
Yeah, no, that's not what you want to see. But Oklahoma in 3 SEC teams. Let's see. I hope Oklahoma wins, just so we can.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Oklahoma. Sorry, Chris.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Uber Sooner. Oklahoma.
So we have a 10 seed. We got we got
We got 5 and a 4 and a 10.
This
The
was
4 and 10. Auburn's the 4.
all right.
Okay.
Auburn. We did say that this was the most wide open region. So 5 and 10 in the Final Four shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Auburn or Oklahoma, guys. Neither of us picked this. But who do we have here?
Do you want to go?
Auburn's been burning me this whole time. They do the exact opposite of what I pick them, but I'm taking Auburn to win this one. So we'll see. If I were you two, I would bet on Oklahoma.
You know what? I like Cinderella run. Let's go with the Cinderella run with Oklahoma.
All right. Let's figure out if we're right. I'm going to go Auburn here because that experience is going to pay off, but it probably isn't because Oklahoma is being ridiculous.
Oklahoma is being ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine this. Look at this run they've had. They've beaten Florida State, Kentucky, and Auburn.
They've won 17.
And Providence.
Majority of these simulations right here.
And guess what? They're the second team in the last 3 years. The second, it would be a double-digit seed to go to the Final Four. Second time in the last 3 years.
All right. Oklahoma is coming out. I mean, look, if you think about it, Oklahoma, this is the Houston region. They have a home court advantage. You know, I know the simulator's not keeping that in mind, but maybe we're not letting on as much as we think.
To your point, we did say this was wide open. This was the most open region.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised Oklahoma came out of it. I didn't think they'd win one. But you know what? That's part of March Madness, and that's why I love it.
Absolutely.
You should be a 2 and a 3. You be a 2, 3, and a 4.
We'll get back to Oklahoma a little later on when we simulate the Final Four. But let's move up to the Midwest.
Oh, my heart is pounding now, dude.
Your team is
on
the line. I don't know if they're going to beat Prairie View A&M. I'm going to go against them every single time.
It's a close one.
We may need a buzzer beater for that game.
So Prairie View A&M did beat North Carolina Central in our pre-simulated bracket that we did before we came on.
I like Kansas to win this by blowout.
I'm assuming Kansas should win this one. Not even close. Yeah. Kansas gets the win. So Kansas is on. Arizona State Marquette, though, 8-9. What are you guys feeling about this one?
See, I'm not
this is a tricky one.
Team. I'm not high in either team.
I'm going to take Marquette because I think the Sim's going to really like Howard, and I'm going to take Marquette.
Yeah. Marquette is going to win this one.
I'm going to go Arizona State. I represent the Pac-12.
Well, Marcus Howard was valued here. Marquette gets a 2-point win, and they go on to face Kansas. Kansas-Marquette. This is what
ESPN had, if anyone's seen that.
This was where UCF met Duke in the bracket in this very pod right here.
I'm actually really nervous about this because ESPN made this sim. They had the same matchup, and they had Marquette winning, but I'm going to stick with Kansas. I'm very nervous, but I like Kansas.
If ESPN was right or if Kyle was right. Nope, Kyle was right.
All right, good. Kansas, all right, good.
They moved
I can breathe a sigh of relief.
But they actually haven't on average fairly close though.
Yeah, that was
It is fairly close.
all right. So now we'll go BYU, who is a 5 seed here, against East Tennessee State, who they've been really good as of late. And East Tennessee State, BYU. Is there a chance East Tennessee State pulls this out?
I mean, I give it a shot, but I think too much shooting for BYU.
Yeah.
I think East Tennessee State wins this in a sim 45% of the time, but I'm going with BYU in this one.
BYU, and you are correct. 95.
Ooh,
wow.
They just said
that's a little bit.
Don't even show up.
Yeah, that's a little bit more than I thought.
Notice that, guys? Look, the middle in Tennessee State is actually Tennessee.
I say yeah, but I actually don't think I noticed that.
I didn't either. Let's see. 84% of.
Oh, I was not even close. Wow.
So that means BYU is.
That's BYU right there.
BYU.
All right, BYU in Wisconsin now. Wisconsin is ESPN's pick to win, right?
Yeah, and that's been my dark horse for a while now. I'm sticking with Wisconsin. I like them to win this game against Vermont.
All right, Vermont. I agree. I think Wisconsin will pull this one out. Chris, any chance for Vermont here?
I have Wisconsin.
All right, Wisconsin. Wisconsin gets a big win. Man, imagine getting tickets for that region right there.
2 blowouts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not a lot of close basketball there, but Wisconsin BYU hopefully create for a very good second round matchup.
That should be a fun matchup. I don't know who's going to win this.
All right. Flip a coin. BYU or Wisconsin, Chris?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the mid-major team. I'm gonna go with BYU. Though I love Wisconsin, but I'm gonna go with the team that just shoots, the better shooting team, because that's what you need in March Madness.
I'm gonna go Wisconsin. They're a really good defensive team.
Yeah, I'm going with Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, 90
baby.
points.
Yeah, baby.
98 points for Wisconsin. They pull it out.
Do you realize that those 3 games were all blowouts?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been fun as a fan. Unless you're a Wisconsin fan, then it's a blast.
All right. Now, Wisconsin, Kyle, we're putting your bracket back to the fire.
Yeah.
Once again, Wisconsin now, who just scored 98 points on BYU.
I've said it time and time again. I like Wisconsin to go to the Final Four against any other matchup than Kansas. I am taking Kansas to beat Wisconsin.
All right. Chris, are we agreeing? I guess we are, right? You did say that. I'm gonna go
I mean,
that's because I want to see Kyle's bracket go up in flames. And
it's done. It's done. That's it, folks.
It's clipped.
That's all she wrote.
Wisconsin gets a 5-point win.
Oh man!
So no love for the 1 seeds on the left side of the bracket. Wisconsin on to the Elite Eight. But look, if you look at this, 3,000 times this has been simulated. Kansas wins 62% of the time.
Yeah, but there's 91 overtimes. That's
91 overtimes. That's 3%. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
They like this game.
Wisconsin moves on. All right. Kyle's bracket went up in flames. Now let's see if my bracket goes up in flames. I got Virginia here, the defending champions. And usually defending champions don't have a whole lot of luck in but let's see if that can change.
This has a chance. This has potential.
Yes, this does. But I'm gonna go with Virginia. I feel really good about how they played down the stretch. Hopefully the simulator will agree with me and they disagree.
Oh no.
Man.
No.
Can we get a 21 gun salute here for everyone's region?
Yeah. So Mississippi State wins and it's not particularly close. They
did what you had to. You put up 50 on Virginia, you're gonna win.
This reminds me of when Louisville played Kenneth Faried and Morehead State, had Louisville in the championship, and they lost their first game.
Yeah.
So, you know what, Virginia, of course, I tried counting on you. I thought I was going to get 2019 Virginia. I got 2018 Virginia. You can go back to your hole now. Thank you.
I had him in the Elite Eight, so I feel a loss there, too. I'm kind of hurting from that one.
All right.
So you just lost 2 of your Elite. You just lost your Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's a rough region for me.
Michigan State. Now it's Hofstra. we're assuming Michigan State's going to win this, guys, right?
Yeah, I'm under that assumption.
ESPN had Hofstra winning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm under the impression that Michigan State wins easily.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Michigan State. Yeah, Michigan State gets a 10-point win. Not
an easy win,
but a win nonetheless. Michigan State moves on. They get Mississippi State, who has already won 2 games now, has beaten almighty defending champion Virginia. Can they get the win against Michigan State here?
It's worth noting that they've already won 2. I think they can. I don't think they will, but I think they can get a win. I'm going to go Michigan State, but not by much.
I'm going with Cinderella again.
Yeah, Mississippi State. I agree. Actually, I think Mississippi State is really liked in the sim. Nope, I lied. Michigan State gets the win.
All right, Sparty.
8-83, a 15-point win for Michigan State. They move on to the Sweet 16. Let's move on to Houston. Our friends in the American, Houston. They get Indiana. This is a good matchup, guys. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is fun. This is a really fun one. Okay. I take Indiana because that they have been battle tested in the Big Ten, and I don't really trust the American, to be completely honest with you. But I'm gonna take Indiana over Houston.
All right.
I agree.
Houston, because the American is, our
underwhelming.
Our team. Nope, I lied. They lost.
Yeah.
Indiana gets the win. Kyle, you are correct, my friend. But look at that. 65.1 to 64.7.
So this is a fluky kind of situation here we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fluke situation with this kind of score.
That is really close. But Indiana pulls it out here.
Those unlucky ones.
Man, they are loving the Big Ten right now. Look at this bracket, the way it's shaping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North Texas, Seton Hall.
Part of me wants to pull a trigger and say North Texas can pull off this upset.
North Texas is a pretty good team.
We haven't seen any 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Get it done.
I really think there's a chance here for North Texas. I'm not going to give it to them. I'm going to say Seton Hall wins, but there's a real chance. Oh, wow. Good thing I didn't.
33.
Yeah, good thing I didn't.
All right. Seton Hall, Indiana, which, that's a rivalry back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's a huge rivalry back in the 80s. But what happened in the 2020s?
I think they're going to pick Indiana.
This is an interesting. I haven't seen the sim give a whole lot of respect to the Big East yet, so I'm going to stick with the Big Ten here. I'm rolling Indiana.
Indiana gets the win. It's not that at all.
Yeah, the Big East has not been seen as a powerhouse conference right now.
59% of teams go to Indiana.
That's the second 10
seed. That's the second 10 seed to go to the Sweet 16.
That's the lucky number right there, guys.
Yep. And
you know who they played? They played a 4 seed in that Elite 8 in the region below. Look who's sitting there in the Elite 8.
Yeah,
the 4 seed.
Can Michigan State get this win?
They can and they should. They should.
But I'm going to ride the 10 seeds until they lose.
I'm taking Michigan State on this one.
Yeah. And Michigan State gets a 1-point win, 74-73. Michigan State pulls it out. They're in the Elite 8. This is very different yet again to what the Elite 8 was going to be like, but Michigan State and Wisconsin, who goes to this Final Four?
I really like this matchup. I'm taking Wisconsin. They beat the only team I said was going to beat them, so I'm riding Wisconsin to the Natty.
Match of conference game.
Yeah, I'm riding Wisconsin to the Natty.
Yeah, Wisconsin to the Natty. All right, Chris, what are you thinking?
Wisconsin. These are the 2 best teams in the Big Ten.
Oh man,
no!
Back-to-back Final Fours.
All right, Michigan State. Back-to-back Final Fours for Michigan State. Back-to-back Final Fours for. Well, no, actually, I lied. It wasn't Auburn.
Not quite.
Almost. I forgot Oklahoma won. So Michigan State gets to the Final Four out of the Midwest. So we'll get to them a little bit later. But now we move over to the West. Now let's put my bracket to the fire. Gonzaga against Little Rock. Guys, we're not thinking that this is gonna be another.
No, I don't think there's any. A
couple of years ago, Little Rock got a win, but I mean,
this is a different Little Rock.
This is not Arkansas Little Rock. This is just
Little Rock, which Kyle told me before we got on. And look, almost
that's a lot of points.
Oh, man.
That really makes me feel good.
Trial by fire, dude. Trial by fire.
Win.
Arizona is next. They get Texas Tech. This is a good 8-9 matchup.
Yeah, I like Texas Tech, but this has potential to be 50-50.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas Tech.
I'm going Texas Tech.
All right, and the results: Texas Tech wins.
Oh, wow.
Also very convincingly.
Off to a good start.
Texas Tech gets a win. That's a close simulation though, 70.5 to
Yeah, it is.
7.3. Texas Tech wins a little over half of the simulation, but now we get Gonzaga, and man, I'm nervous.
This is a big game for Gonzaga. I'm going with the upset here. Actually, I know I picked Gonzaga to the Elite Eight, but
You want to know?
no, I'm sticking with my pick. I'm sticking with my pick. I can't do that.
Tournament 2 straight years.
I can't do that. I picked Gonzaga.
Let's go Gonzaga. We all picked Gonzaga. No, well, Chris, you can pick Texas Tech if you want because you did pick Utah State, but
I took
You know
Gonzaga.
what?
I can't go against them right now.
I'll go Gonzaga. I'll
All right.
go them.
And whoo,
Close.
Okay.
Gonzaga gets a 5-point win against Texas Tech to move on to the Sweet 16. Now, Chris, let's see how crazy your pick was with Utah State.
They love the Big Ten so far.
They
That's
do.
why
Yeah,
I'm
The
nervous.
Big Ten has had a really good tournament so far. But let's see if Utah State can break that up. I'm going to go with Ohio State because
I am too.
the Big Ten is
Dang.
going with here. But Utah State, they get it's a 6-point game, but Utah State does lose to Ohio State. So Chris, Cinderella,
Dang.
not in the West region. Now we get Creighton.
Upset.
Creighton loses to Yale. That's what you're predicting?
I am predicting that.
All right. Creighton had
They
a good
haven't liked the Big East.
This is a big upset. This might be the biggest first round upset. Am I wrong in saying that? So far?
So far, we haven't seen we haven't really seen too many upsets. I think the 11 seed is the lowest seed that's won so far, and that was Richmond and Mississippi State, both of those teams, the play-in teams. But Creighton gets a 12-point win here. So the 4 and the 5 have won every matchup so far, and they'll draw Ohio State.
I'm taking Ohio State.
All right, Ohio State.
It's like the Big Ten.
I don't really trust Creighton. Even before that last game was simulated, I still
I
don't
don't
trust
trust either
Creighton.
team though.
Yeah. I'm going to go with
I
Ohio State. I like Ohio State right here. But nope, it is. They don't win the simulations, but they did win this one. 36% of simulations go to Creighton.
Wow.
One of them is our simulation here. Creighton moves to the
Big win for the Blue Jays.
big win for the Blue Jays. First Sweet 16
run.
appearance since Doug McDermott. Am I wrong?
I believe that is correct.
Good run.
Now
Good run.
Gonzaga. I'm going to go with Gonzaga here.
I have to go Gonzaga because I took Gonzaga to the Elite Eight.
All right, Chris.
I picked them in the Elite Eight too. I want to pick the upset, but I want to get something right.
You picked Utah State, so you're not.
Yeah, you took the 12 seed, my friend.
Oh yeah, my bad.
But look at that.
Whoa,
Gets
buddy.
a huge win. 29-point win. Bracket busted in the Sweet 16, just like my good old friend Kyle.
Yeah.
Creighton-
Never mind.
The 4 seeds are given a whole lot of
Where I picked it to lose. This is actually where I picked Gonzaga to lose, but not this bad.
Not this
Yeah,
bad.
I didn't think that was going to be the scenario right there. That's brutal.
All right.
108 points.
Bracket is going to the fire once again with Iowa here.
This is kind of a gutsy pick on my end, but I do like the way Iowa's been playing this season. They were one of my 3 favorites for a dark horse, aside Wisconsin and Virginia. I mean, mixed results there with that simulation.
They draw SFA, who had that big win.
Is this Sim gonna give him? They're gonna give him some for that win?
I'll go with SFA here. Actually, I think this could be an upset here.
I would have picked.
It's not
Okay.
Iowa.
Buckeyes.
I would have picked that upset if it was a different team.
I like Iowa. Iowa's played really well.
If they were playing a different team, I would have picked Stephen F. Austin.
So, Kentucky battle, Northern Kentucky against Louisville. Northern Kentucky, when they made the tournament a couple of years ago, they played Kentucky. I don't know why they want to get Kentucky, but
I'm taking Louisville.
Guys.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. The simulator agrees. Louisville moves on. They get Iowa. Louisville, Iowa is a second round matchup.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
This is a fun game. I'm sticking with Iowa. I really do believe that this is a Final Four potential team.
I picked Louisville. I'm sticking with Louisville. Chris, what do you think? You have Butler in
Iowa. I had Iowa.
You have Butler.
Louisville.
Iowa Butler. So that's gone.
Louisville.
So that's 3 of my Final 4 are done already. Yikes.
That's it. Yep. All right.
That hurts.
Butler and Colorado. This is Chris. Your bracket going to the fire once again.
Colorado. They lose to Colorado.
The 10 seeds won the first 2 games.
I'm taking Colorado.
Okay, are we gonna make it 3 10 seeds here? And Colorado, 20 point.
No.
No love for Butler. Colorado moves on. Now we get San Diego State and Bradley.
Wow.
There's a real chance Bradley wins, but I keep saying that for these mid-majors, and I keep getting proven wrong every single time. I'm taking San Diego State.
Bradley, I thought they did well last year. Even though they lost, they played well last year.
Which, to be fair, I mean, look, this is a simulator, so obviously it's not going to be 100%. I think it's very, very unlikely that we get to a tournament where all the 4 seeds win. All the 4 seeds go to the Elite Eight. None of the number 1 seeds have made it to the Elite Eight at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Bradley, San Diego State.
The ESPN bracket?
Bradley, San Diego State. We're going to go San Diego State.
Yeah, I think that's consensus.
And
close though.
Close.
Finally a close one.
San Diego State pulls it out. Now, given the history of what we've seen so far, Colorado should win this game.
You would think, but I'm sticking with San Diego State.
San Diego State barely beats Bradley. I think Colorado probably is going to win by like 15
I'm
here.
sticking with the Aztecs here.
I'm going to go Colorado. Chris?
Yeah. I'll give my conference a
all right, Colorado.
I'll give my Pac-12
27-point win. Those
10 seeds, man.
Those 10 seeds.
That's the lucky number. That is the lucky number, guys.
Louisville.
I'm going Louisville.
I picked
I'm
Louisville.
not trusting the Pac-12 that much.
Yeah,
you all trust the 10 seed again?
Part of me wants to, but I don't know if I want to be that guy to fall for this.
All right. I'm going to go Louisville. And Colorado moves on.
I should have done it.
Yep. What is this thing with the 10?
This is actually wild, guys.
And the thing is,
can you imagine?
They win most of these.
You look at this as if this is an actual March Madness. This would be one of the craziest tournaments we've seen in history.
Oh my God, yes, it would be. You can't write this.
Yeah. I think Colorado's going to the Final Four.
I mean, to be fair, it's been an insanely crazy college basketball season. So, do we deserve anything other than a crazy simulation here?
This is the second.
I think Colorado's going.
I'm taking Creighton. I like the 4 seed.
Yep. And
oh my goodness, not even close.
Colorado.
Wow. So Colorado steamrolls to the Final Four.
Yeah, like they didn't. There was not one game where it was like close.
They were never in doubt.
Jesus.
Wow. We have 2 10 seeds in the Final Four.
This is crazy.
All right, now only hope for any of us to get this bracket right is if Dayton can pull this out. So I'm rooting for Dayton now, Chris. Dayton, Robert Morris. I assume we're gonna think Dayton wins.
Yeah, this shouldn't be close.
Oh man.
And Dayton gets a 18-point win over here. So Dayton moves on. USC Florida is the 8-9 matchup.
This is an interesting game. I'm gonna take USC, but I wouldn't put it past Florida to steal this one.
All right.
Florida's a pretty good tournament team. I'll go Florida.
All right, Florida. I'll go Florida. I'll cheers to my Gator friends. But yeah, Gators.
Yeah, that's
job done.
Pretty solid win there for Florida.
All right. So.
Oh, please don't. Please don't do this. Please.
Dude, this is exactly the kind of win that I can see Florida pulling off right now with the way this has gone. This has that kind of feeling with Florida.
Chris Wolf, you think it's gonna be Dayton? And
I hope it is.
I'm taking Florida. I picked Oregon to the Elite Eight anyways out of the top half, so I'm taking Florida here.
All right. Let's see if y'all are right. It is Florida.
There it is, guys. That's all she wrote.
Up with
No
these-
Final Four teams right.
No one seed made it past the Sweet 16. That's nuts. And two number one seeds didn't make it to the second weekend.
This is actually ridiculous,
Could
guys.
you see this actually happening in real life?
No, it wouldn't be this crazy.
Maybe next time we'll pick a different simulator.
Just flip the seedings. Just flip the seedings on everybody.
Yeah. Or
Except the ones and 16s. The 1 and 16 seems to be a little
or
bit.
maybe this coronavirus could not cancel all the world. Maybe that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
please.
Yeah. Oregon, New Mexico State. We're gonna go Oregon here.
Yeah, Oregon was a Elite Eight team.
Points.
All right. Oregon moves on. Oregon's my Final Four team out of this region, so I guess I still have that going for me.
Hey.
But now we have Maryland and Akron.
Maryland easily.
I feel like Maryland, if given the right route, could go very far.
They could make a Final Four push here.
Yeah, but let's see if they can get past the Akron Zips. And they do not lose to Akron. So Maryland moves on. They get Oregon. Maryland, Oregon. This is a good game, y'all.
I really like this game.
Yeah,
I'm going to take Oregon though. I trust my I trust my Elite Eight pick here. I'm going with the go.
Chris, Oregon, Maryland. Do you like this matchup?
I'm going to go Oregon because I had Oregon in the Sweet 16.
All right, let's see if you're right. And you are right. Oregon wins. Rejoice. All right, Oregon,
Yeah, but they don't-
Florida now.
I'm taking Oregon still.
Chris, your worlds are colliding.
Whoa. My hometown team versus my favorite team.
Yeah. All right. Oregon.
I'm going to go with my favorite team.
All right, Oregon. Let's see if we're right. And we are wrong. Dead wrong.
Wow.
21-point loss to
It's
Florida.
actually close on average.
Yeah, it is.
Wait,
close.
Oregon wins in more of the times, actually. I
Yeah,
think.
Oregon does win majority of these, but Florida wins.
Florida wins rather convincingly this one.
They win by more than 20 points 60 times. That's 8% of the time.
That's rough.
So when they win, they're blowing them out.
All right. So UF is an Elite Eight team.
And Mike White keeps his job.
Yep. That's right.
Mike White's safe, guys.
Mike
That's
White.
the thing. Second Elite Eight. That'd be a second Elite Eight appearance.
Yeah, he's if he made it to the Sweet 16 and knocked off Dayton, he would have kept his job. But
Illinois,
this just secures it.
Cincinnati. I'm gonna go with
I like Illinois.
I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
I don't trust the American to win a single game in this tournament.
The Big Ten for the most part has been really loved in this whole thing. So I'm going Illinois.
All right. Y'all are right. It is Illinois.
Yeah, I have no love for the American this season. It's just not a good
the
one.
average score is pretty close.
Yeah, it is. Duke and Eastern Washington. We're putting Kyle's bracket on the line.
The last chance of any one of us getting a Final Four team correct.
Okay, in real life, Eastern Washington is a great offense.
Yeah. But we're going to go with Duke here, and we are right. Duke wins. Duke, Illinois. That's a fun matchup.
I do like this matchup. I'm sticking with Duke for obvious reasons here.
All right, I'll go with Duke as well. I think that they at least get past this round. Chris, you agreeing with us?
Yeah, Duke.
Right.
I'll go Duke.
Yep, and Duke is the team that moves on to the Sweet 16.
Well, I can still get my Sweet
All right.
16. I can
All
still
right.
get my this on bracket, right?
Yep, Michigan.
Villanova.
There's Michigan.
This is one of those matchups I circled when I had this bracket. This is one of those matchups I circled as could be one of the most entertaining first round games of the whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
matchup.
take Michigan though. I'm gonna take Michigan. I like St. Mary's a lot, but I'm sticking with Michigan.
I mean, this is the 10 seeds. The 10 seeds.
I know, man, but I know the instant I side with the 10 seed, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay the course here.
All right. And you stayed the course, and it paid off.
There we
Michigan
go.
wins, and they move on. The only 7 seed to win a tournament game in our simulation.
Wow.
Now we have.
Yo, we have two 10 seeds in the Final Four.
We do have 2 10 seeds in the. No, Creighton's in the Final Four. I thought.
No, Colorado whooped Creighton.
You know how close we are? Do you know how close we are to having 2 10s and an 8?
Relax. We haven't got there yet.
9. Florida's a 9.
Oh, they're 9?
Yeah, Florida's the 9. I like Villanova
Wow.
to win this easily.
Yeah, Villanova should win this easily, and they do. 14-point win.
Dude, Villanova is one win away from that anticipating matchup. I really would love to see Duke and Villanova.
I don't know. They haven't.
Michigan's tough though. That's not a gimme.
But Michigan still has some bad blood in their mouth.
I'm gonna go with Villanova. Yeah, I like Villanova.
I agree with Jeremy. I'm sticking Villanova, but I like Michigan too. Oh, close one though.
Michigan gets the upset.
So, a 7 or 10 seed made it out of all of it. So no 2 seeds made it to the Sweet 16.
That's a little crazy,
one
guys.
Seed made it to the Elite Eight. All the Final Four teams are a 3 seed or worse. Could be a 4 seed or worse if not Duke makes it. So Duke gets Michigan. This is a good match.
I do like this matchup. Duke all the way, dude. Final Four. Come on, baby. I got to get one right. I got to get one right.
Well, I'll go Kyle and Duke. But 85-62, Duke wins.
There we go. One more, guys. One more.
Duke,
we can get one right. Just get one right.
Come on, guys. Out of the 3 of us, you'd think we could get one combined Final Four right? You would think.
One year where Florida was a 9 or 8 or 9 seed, and they were in the Elite Eight.
They lost to South Carolina, didn't they?
It was a 4 versus a 7, actually.
No, they played Butler the year Butler was the 8 that they went to the Final Four.
Yeah, you're right.
And they were like a 2 seed or something like that. That was your UConn one, 2014.
Yeah, this has that kind of feel, but I am going with Duke. It has to be Duke, guys.
I'm over Duke. I want one right. Oh no!
UF Final Four bound.
Dude, my dad is going to be beside himself when he sees this. My dad is going to be beside himself when he sees that Florida is probably going to win the whole thing. I like Florida to win the whole thing.
All right, so our Final Four. We have Michigan State coming out of the Midwest, Oklahoma coming out of the South, Colorado coming out of the West, and Florida coming out of the East. Guys,
what is going on?
Do we have is this 3 double-digit loss teams in the Final Four?
I believe so.
So, yeah.
What is happening?
All right, we'll go Florida, Colorado first.
I'm taking Florida.
Yeah, I gotta take Florida. Like, this is like...
I'm gonna go Colorado. They had a really easy road, and they won every game by a lot. I think this simulator was... If Colorado wins this by like 15 or 20, I'm convinced that this was made by a Colorado
right
fan or something like that. Let's see.
This is absolutely crazy.
Yep.
There it is.
By
there
10.
it is.
All right. Colorado.
All wins were by double digits.
Yeah. Oh, they are steamrolling into this. That's the weirdest part about it.
How is this happening, man?
Winning this by like way too much.
Holy moly.
All right. Now, Michigan State.
Do I go against a 10 seed?
Oklahoma.
Do I dare go against a 10?
Matchup?
No.
It's got to be Michigan State.
It's got to be Oklahoma.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
It has to be the Spartans.
It has to be.
It's got to be Michigan State.
All right. And it is Oklahoma. Shame on y'all for going against a 10 seed. Oklahoma makes it to the championship.
Top 10 matchup.
How do you even pick this? How do you pick a game like this for the national? I would have picked this as a potential 8-9 game, let alone the national championship.
Yeah.
So go Colorado.
I have to go Colorado. No. Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner.
I'm going double-digit win. Double-digit win for Colorado.
I think that this is Colorado all the way. It just has to be. All right. So we will now. All right. Moment of truth.
The winner of the college national championship
later is.
This is official, by the way, guys. This is going down in the NCAA record books.
Whoa! By 44 points. Oklahoma wins 105-61. Oklahoma is your March Madness HTF simulator champion.
This may have been the wackiest thing I've ever done in sports.
How do you win all those games, blowouts, and then you get completely crushed in the championship?
Yeah. What happened, guys?
I'm not really sure what the sim's going off of if that's the case. Is it? It feels like a total luck scenario.
Oh,
Because that's not really computing with me. I thought it was going to be a closer game than 44.
well, maybe maybe Trae Young was the reason why they didn't win a national championship.
Yeah, right. Trae Young just sitting there on the sidelines.
So Oklahoma.
Colorado wins 58% of the time, 59% of the time.
Yeah.
But yet they lose by 40.
Wow.
Right.
So what do you think of this, guys?
This is the wackiest March Madness I've ever seen.
This would never ever happen.
No. I mean, you look at this. Not a single 1 seed made the Elite Eight. That's weird to me.
If you look at the bracket here, Kansas loses in the Sweet 16. Michigan State. What is the most you could actually see this happening?
Michigan State, the Final Four, is the most likely of all of that.
Yeah.
Florida would be easily second.
I think, yeah. I mean, considering Oklahoma went all that way.
I don't think Oklahoma would get through the first round, let alone to a national championship and win the whole thing.
Florida, though. I mean, Florida was highly.
Well, I mean, out of the other three, yeah, you like Florida over Colorado and Oklahoma.
So Gonzaga.
Florida was a really
the Midwest
good team,
is probably
though.
the likeliest to happen.
The Midwest, you look at it, actually isn't that far-fetched of a scenario.
No. All of this happening in the Midwest.
All the other ones, yes.
The rest is just chaos.
The 2-10s, yeah.
Oh, Florida Duke.
I mean, Auburn, I guess, is pretty reasonable. Auburn is a 4. That's pretty
Duke
reasonable.
As an Elite Eight's not bad.
Creighton is somewhat reasonable. I don't know if they would have beat Gonzaga, but that's somewhat reasonable.
Colorado, absolutely not.
Yeah, Colorado makes no sense to me.
Well, March Madness doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly. That's honestly the best thing you can say about this whole thing right now.
And it's probably a good thing that we didn't actually see this go through.
Yeah, right?
Thank God.
Actually, you know what? I think I would have loved this. I think this would have been something for the record books if that kind of scenario happened.
I would have had fun. It's fun. It's fun to watch this.
All right. And with that, that is all we have for now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Absolutely.
Thank you.